Hello, you fucks. Welcome to John Solo's Beard Brigade. I'm John Solo. You are not. And it is the big day, Monday. And it's also the big day where we get to reveal the new intro, which is freaking awesome. I love it. There's a new outro coming up too here. And we've also got a new logo, and y'all saw that with the music coming up. Now, there's going to be a better deal with
Smoke
the
alarm silenced in the office.
sorry. It happens every fucking time. Uh Nobody say a word. It's gonna be done in a second. I swear to God. I hit the little vape thing before, and so. Anyways, I'm excited. New intro, new outro. There's new music coming, and that brings an announcement. So, this episode is going to be the last episode that we air in the Facebook private book group here that stays recorded in the group. Here's what's going to happen. Starting next week, the Talk to the Beards, the Rambling Gremlins, all those are going to air live in Facebook. Then they're going to go away until they're on YouTube the next day. So if you want to catch it live, please, by all means, do so. But that will allow me to do a few things with the music and everything else that I can't do currently. And I'm very excited about it. So, anyways, that will be revealed next week. I didn't have enough time to get to it this week. This week, we are working on Morgan Bryce for Tantor. It's just a hair behind. I don't really like that. Then we've got Nora. Back to Nora Phoenix, and I'm stoked about that. So, I love you all. Thank you for being patient this week. And also, thanks to my lovely wife, Jody. The pictures, I think that we knocked it out of the park. We've been sharing them all week, all the extras and everything else we didn't get to share in the intro. And at some point this week, I hope to do a video. I'll stream it in Discord probably, going through the intro and the outro and kind of showing you all how I did it. And I'll probably record that and pop it up on YouTube. I think that would be fun. So, anyways, our guest this week, and I'm stoked about this too. I've been saying for the last couple of years that I was really hoping that other people would start doing industry podcasts like this. And there's been a couple here and there. I mean, I know specifically, um, well, I wish I would have written down the names. I've actually been on one, and I can't remember, which is horrible. Tracy will help me out with the one that I was on a couple of years ago. I really appreciate that. But I was hoping for, like, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's so much work going on, and there's so many good authors out there that we can talk to. And lo and behold, this lady's got it going on. Chloe Archer not only is a fantastic author, and we're going to get into that because, trust me, my lovely TNA Tracy's been going nuts over one of her books. But Chloe Archer does I believe it's Tea, Tentacles, and Talk. That's on YouTube. And somebody's going to put a link down here. That would be absolutely awesome. Yeah, continual thing. Trace, that was one of them. She is also, let me see, currently calls the Arctic wilds of Minnesota home, but has spent much of her life abroad in places like Montreal, Edinburgh, and Tokyo. Well, one day she hopes to live somewhere sunny and warm. She loves to travel, eat spicy food, and geek out about her fandoms. In her spare time, what's that? She's an avid reader with far too many books and not enough bookcases, a wannabe tea and coffee connoisseur, and a karaoke fanatic. When she's not making herself laugh out loud while writing adorkable gay rom-coms, she can be found walking her two Yorkies, Teddy and Jasper, trying to finish that blanket she's been knitting for 5 years, or spending time with family and friends. Everybody, I give you Chloe Archer. Ta-da! Hello.
Hello.
Dude, I am nervous. I haven't been nervous for a podcast in a long time, but like I got a lot going on today. And this is a big deal, man. I'm really excited to have you. And Tracy has done nothing but talk about one of your books, which is
Oh,
awesome.
awesome.
Well, apparently you snagged Greg to narrate. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
I did.
Greg's kind of a big deal too. So, tell me about it. What was the
hmm
experience like?
Doing the audiobook, you mean?
Correct.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was amazing. I've been an audiobook fanatic myself for many years. And I've actually been attending GRL for since 2014 as a reader.
Wow.
So I'd seen many panels actually with Greg and a
Mm.
number of the other audiobook narrators, yourself included. And when I was writing the book, Greg really immediately popped up in my mind as somebody who would be really perfect in being able to somebody who does sci-fi and does humor and can do a large ensemble cast. And which
Hmm.
just keeps growing with each book. And so, I reached out to him, and I, was fortunate that I am very good friends with Megan Maslow,
Hmm.
who has worked with Greg for many years. And so she put in a good word for me. And it took me a long time to get on his calendar, but no, it was fantastic. I loved the whole process. And I'm super excited that readers are getting to listen to it as well as read it in person.
He's incredible. I
Yes.
am still. It's my maybe second or third panel I did last year with Greg, and I was still starstruck. He's really, really,
Hmm.
really good. Um, when he was answering questions on the panel, I have my own style. I mean, I am who I am. I'm not going to be. I'm not what they call PC, but Greg is
Mm.
like the ultimate politician. Everything is perfectly crafted, even his answers. It's ridiculously good. It shocks me every time. And we
Yeah.
yeah. La, 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 la. Oh no. Let's see if we can get that figured out. We have a little bit of technical difficulties in the background. We'll see if we can fix that along the way here. Um,
Yeah.
the when I was looking through here, one of the things that popped out to me when I was reading your description, I guess your bio on your webpage, was that you are a avid karaoke fanatic.
Yes.
So what
Well, I learned that in Japan. So I lived in Japan for about a year, way back in the day. Between my master's and PhD, actually, I took a year off. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to travel, and I found an advertisement for a job in Tokyo teaching English, and I just applied on a whim, got in, and moved to Tokyo sight unseen. And taught English there for a year. And all of my Japanese coworkers were very involved in karaoke. It was something that they would do at least a couple nights a week after work. And I got pulled along with them. And I mean, it was an amazing experience also because sometimes, some of them could have very limited conversations in actual English with you, but they have memorized English language songs and could sing them better than any native English speakers I've met. It was really impressive, but I learned to develop a love for particularly like private karaoke rooms and stuff like that. But I'll do it in front of a big audience too. I have done it at GRL in the past. um, I do a pretty good Pat Benatar and Cher. Oh, that's my dogs who
Yep,
are
it's
deciding
no. I don't think anyone in
somebody's
the
going
crowd's going to
by
be
the
upset
house.
at dogs. Trust me. Um,
No,
the karaoke
there are.
stuff, it amazes me. One, we need to do that at GRL. All of us need to get together and go karaoke, and it would be a freaking blast. Um, and two, you're the second person I've heard talk about this as well, about these being able to sing songs that really they don't even speak the language, but they've got it memorized better than you ever could.
Mhm,
Have you ever?
mhm.
Do you? I tried to do that once with La Bamba. Not once. I actually did it for several years in a band and got paid with it. I still don't know a word of La Bamba, by the way.
Oh,
Not a freaking word.
oh, I
Do
have
you,
not tried any foreign language songs. I have a zero gift with languages apart from English. I've studied French, I've studied Italian, a little bit of Japanese, but my brain just decided it couldn't hold on to any of that.
Mhm.
But, I mean, karaoke comes up in, I bring it into some of my books. So readers know that in my series, one of my alien characters who's neighbors with one of my MCs is a Tom Jones impersonator who likes to sing karaoke, and he has his own portable karaoke machine that he often will bring over to their house. I totally cribbed that from my real life. That during the pandemic, I got so bored and lonely, I bought myself a home portable karaoke machine.
Really?
And Yes, really. Yeah, and it also has the disco ball on the top, just like the one Tom Jones has in my book. Because I was like, oh, this is too good. I have to include this in a story someday. Like, people will not believe this is a thing. But you can find them on Amazon, and it's endless hours of entertainment.
Oh my. Okay, I have questions. First
Okay.
off, a technical question. I'm not sure if you can see me
Yeah.
or not at this point. Can you see me?
No.
Okay.
No, I just have the please stand by screen.
Are you comfortable going on with just audio, or should we pause for a second and figure
That's
that out?
fine. That's
Okay,
all right.
you're a
As long
pro.
as it's recording okay for you.
We're seeing everything perfectly on our side, and you're a pro. I
Perfect.
really do appreciate that. I
No
see. Okay,
problem.
so there was the one thing. See, I said right before the show too. I said nothing's going right. I haven't broke anything so
Right.
far. Knock on wood. I'm a freaking idiot. So, um,
Got
the
cocky there.
the karaoke machine at your house now it shows up. And I'm assuming this is in something from. Was this an Amazon Prime late night like oops? Was it that how that went down?
Oh no, John. I did a lot of research and investigation into this. I like compared models. I like looked at recommendations and reviews and like and I picked the one I wanted. And it showed up. It's got a handle and wheels. You can like take this thing anywhere.
I mean, I
And
believe
the
you.
portable
Trust me. I mean,
mics.
I'm an audio engineer. Trust me. I've got really right outside this door, 25,000 watts of karaoke power. It could be unreal. But
Nice.
um, when you got it out of the box now, and that fresh
Mm.
smell, and I love cutting the box and all the crinklies, and then sometimes you get the stuff you can pop them and you pop pop pop, and I like those too. But you get it out, you set it up. First song, what is it?
Oh. Um It was probably this is a couple years ago, so I don't entirely remember, but it was probably my the song I usually start out with because I like to start big. I'm big or go home, when
Okay,
it comes
all
to
right.
karaoke. So
We've
I do Pat Benatar's Heartbreaker.
Holy shit, look at you go. Now,
Mm.
is there I doubt that you can do this like on camera like that, but I mean
Oh God.
I'm assuming and I don't expect you to sing or anything. Trust me, I'm not going to do that to you. But I'm assuming if there's some sort of rock starish, you cannot sing a song like Heartbreaker and not be like Heartbreaker. You're just freaking getting wailing. Is there anybody
Mhm.
other than the dogs to see this? Did somebody walk in? I mean,
It's entirely possible my neighbors heard, but they're Minnesotans, and so they wouldn't say anything about it to my face.
I very polite.
Maybe
Very
quietly, amongst themselves, they
oh
might talk,
my.
but they wouldn't tell me.
Wow. I understand entirely. People, by the way, are
Mhm.
chatting in the background here. It happened during the Magic Brownies tentacle tango scene. Awesome. And they're, yeah, people
Yes.
are, apparently it's very popular. Yeah. It's one of the only audiobooks where, not only, but Trace came to me and told me how good it was. And then she said that she'd listened to it. It was like either back to back or really close to that. Like she listened
Aw.
to it, went back, listened to it again. It was that good. So, yeah, you got a fan.
Oh, well, that means a lot. I mean, I wrote this book at a time during the pandemic when I really needed this book and nobody else was writing it, essentially. I needed
Mhm.
a book that had like the geeky, zany, over the top kind of humor that I enjoy that would just make me laugh and smile. And so, it really means a lot to me when I see readers who comment and tell me, "Oh my gosh, this is my go-to book when I need to feel good," or "I've listened to the audiobook 3 times." I mean, those types of things that really means a lot to me because I wanted this book to be that for other people as well. Mhm.
I think you hit it. Trace said 3 times. Yeah, that's
Aw.
it's absolutely fantastic.
Well, the second one will be coming this summer, so stay tuned.
So let's start talking inspiration then. I'm going to go to the regulars, but you interrupt
Mm.
me and tell me if we can go in a different direction. Are you
Oh, sure.
favorite TV series?
Oh my gosh, too many. I have
It doesn't
so
have to
many
be
that
just
I'm
one, but
thinking
let's say
of.
less than 10.
Oh, okay. Well, a lot that appear in this book, of course. Star Trek: The Next Generation. I grew up with that. I'm a total sci-fi geek. The X Files. I was that weird teenager who stayed home on Friday nights the first season of X-Files just to watch
Nice.
X-Files. Um, I was a really big Supernatural fan for a long time.
Hmm.
I didn't watch the entirety of the series, but like the first like 8 or 9 seasons, I was, there. Um, I would say probably also Schitt's Creek is kind of one of my, newer go-to happy kinds of shows that give me a boost when I need one. Um, I also really loved Unsolved Mysteries as a kid. The whole Robert Stack in the trench coat, this whole noir aesthetic thing under a
Oh
street
yeah.
light, and and so I've also enjoyed some of the Netflix kind of remake of that's happened recently. That's been really good. So yeah, I mean, those are, I guess, a couple of the ones that I really like. Kind of
You
older, but
you did a good job at keeping it under 10. That's fantastic.
okay.
Um, Now, out of those, I know I'm imagining. Let me not put words in your mouth. Have you ever written fan fiction?
I am an oddity actually in the MM and just writer community in general that I have not.
No shit. Have you tried it? It's really good.
Mm-mm. I've read some, but I find that when there are shows or things that I like, and even from an early age, I would want to write my own story that was kind of
Hmm.
inspired by it rather than continue in that specific world.
I understand
So yeah,
completely.
I'm an oddity. I
I've
mean, I'm
never.
also odd in that came to MM differently than most people. I came to MM through Japanese boys love and yaoi comic books
Okay.
from when I lived in Japan.
Yep. My one of my really good friends, the same way, but not many people. You're right. I've not run into many authors that have, and also you are correct that most authors do write fanfic. So you are correct
Yeah.
in all accounts. You are an oddity, Chloe Archer, an interesting
Yes.
one though, and you're
A
fun to
little
talk
bit.
to. So,
Oh, thanks.
um, yep. Your favorite beverage, daytime first,
Ooh, tea. I'm a
tea.
major tea drinker. Yep,
Okay.
my grandparents and my dad are British. And then I also lived in Japan, so I like the black teas, the green teas, the oolongs, the pu'ers, the white teas, all of it.
Okay. Somebody asked, by the way, have you watched Picard?
Oh my
Picard,
God, I
the
have not yet.
yeah. No, no,
It's on
no.
my list for like summer viewing.
You'd mentioned Next Gen. I about jumped in there too because I was a huge Next Gen fan. I absolutely loved it. And I watched
Oh
the
yeah.
first season of Picard, but I've not watched the second or the third, which is out now.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, it's really good. I mean, the first season was good. It was solid. It's just, I don't know. I didn't have enough spoons, so I didn't jump into the second one, unfortunately.
Yeah. I've heard it's a little darker. Part of me is also sort of torn about seeing like Patrick Stewart in his Twilight years, right?
Hmm.
Like to me, I want him to kind of always be like Jean-Luc Picard in my head from, when I was a kid, but now he's quite a bit older. And so I feel like, oh, it just reminds me too much of like the end of like that whole era, I guess.
Oh yeah, I went through this. I'm a big Jonathan Frakes fan. I absolutely loved him. I thought he did a great
Oh
job,
yeah.
and he came up and he's still fantastic actor. He lights up the screen. You got to look at him, but he looks a lot older than he. So yeah, I get it entirely. It was
Yes.
yeah, and
I
it
know.
happens to the
All
best
right,
of
I'm
us.
still talking to you, but I'm having to move my dogs. Of course, like tried to see if they wanted to go outside before I
No,
did
no,
this. No, they
a
couldn't possibly go.
this is
But
an
now
action
they're
cam.
like, we must or we're going to die. There you go, guys.
Don't worry. What I did was I made you
So,
big on the screen so everyone could follow along and enjoy the journey. Here we go.
well, they know what the fur babies are like. We love them, but they can be a little trying sometimes when they mess with human order and routine.
I understand entirely. I've been considering with the YouTube channel doing like 5 to 10 minute clips out of interviews, and, and we can do like a walking with Chloe thing right there, where I can, just
Oh,
let's go around her house.
sure. Yeah.
Let's see if we can find anything in the background. It'll be great.
Yeah, you can probably see like my floor to ceiling bookcases that are half books, half movies. Because I'm
You
also a
you
film collector.
Now, what format of film do you collect on? Are you like back to the VHS days, or have you got like all the Blu-ray or the DVDs, or what do you got?
I I'm mostly DVD and Blu-ray at this point, but I do still have a modest-sized VHS collection that I don't know why I'm holding on to it. It's mostly just nostalgia because I started collecting as a teenager, and VHS was what was available mostly at that point.
Yeah.
So, I some of them I've got like the original like Star Wars trilogy on a little
Yep.
VHS combo pack
Oh
thing
yeah,
with the three of
I
them
had it.
together. And I'm like, I don't really want to throw it away. So
It's hard,
just
especially
holding on for the
that that one is one of the last editions that you could possibly have that wouldn't have George
right.
Lucas going in afterwards. So yeah, I get it entirely.
Right. Yep, that's the old original theatrical cut.
And it has I'm a Star Wars fan, so obviously, but recently I went through Return of the Jedi. The end of it, the Ewok song at the end, nom nom
Oh yeah.
nom 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 da, 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 wow, wow. That one is gone. Like you
Yep.
can't get it anymore. It's hard to
Oh
find on YouTube even.
no.
It's horrible. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, the things I think about. Um, um, what else are you finding on a daily basis you're using to recharge to inspire you? Because you are a lady with a lot of ideas.
Mm. Oh, yeah, too many, I think. The thing is for those of the folks who are following who are familiar, writer friends will know, my number one Clifton strength is futuristic. So that means like I have already planned out at least 3 series beyond the one that I'm writing now, 10 books in the series that I'm writing now, and then several in the others. So I have them kind of like mentally mapped out. So I have no shortage of things that I'm going to be working on. It's just more of a matter of finding the time. I do have a full-time day job, and so trying to kind of juggle that with also writing is difficult sometimes. I'm not a short writer either. My books tend to skew more toward 100,000 words or more. For me, recharging is actually kind of simple things like I do yin yoga, which is just very kind of calming and like helps me clear my head. I really enjoy going for long walks with my dogs when the weather is good. And so in Minnesota, it's starting to get to that point of the year. It's like, oh, the snow is at least mostly gone, so we can resume kind of long daily walks. So exercise of different types. Sometimes I will listen to an audiobook from someone else because I look at the computer a lot for my day job. And so sometimes if I want to be, you know, inspired by the creative vibe, I will sometimes listen to an audiobook to kind of get me into a headspace where that will happen for me. Um, I just wanted to point out because I have the perfect opportunity here, right? I absolutely love your audiobook narration for probably my favorite sci-fi series of all time, which is Lynn Galla's Claimings series. Liam and Audrey are kind of like my OTP couple. I love that series so much. She's a very different writer than I am. Her level of like intricate world building and the like linguistic stuff she does is utterly fascinating. I'm a little bit more comedic and pop culture self-referential and
Well,
goofy.
sometimes as an audiobook narrator, you find yourself, and it's a fortunate place to be in, where you find yourself in the middle of a project and realizing that you're completely unworthy of doing this project justice. And at that point
Mm,
forward, maybe authors get there too. But at that point forward, you're 30%, 40%, somewhere in there into this project, and you're like,
Mhm.
man, put your head down and just try and stay out of the way. And you stay out of the way of the
Right.
material, try and get the words right, and hope
Mhm.
for the best. Lingala is
Mhm.
freaking amazeballs. I love her to death.
She really
Um,
is, and this is a great chance for readers if you've not read her Claimings series. It's on, I think it's still on KU. It's on audiobook. Super awesome. Well worth
yeah,
checking out.
yeah. I would also suggest that, uh, given the amount of buzz that I've noticed about your name and the stuff that you're working on right now in particular, I would suggest that you perhaps might have something going on too, and perhaps even
Yes.
Lingala worthy. For one, just the buzz alone, and people that I know listen to audiobooks all day and all night long that are still going back and listening to it 2 and 3 times. Dude, kudos.
Aw,
You have something
thank
special,
you.
and you should really be
Oh, thank
proud.
you. I
I would
am.
go ahead, please.
Oh, no, I mean, I'm super thrilled that people are enjoying it. I think one of the biggest compliments I've gotten is actually people who tell me, I don't normally like sci-fi. I don't normally read this, but I read your book and I loved it, right?
Hmm.
And, can't wait for more. So that's I mean, that's a huge compliment to me. Right now, the first two books and a little Christmas novella in the series are out, and book number 3, When a Man Loves an Alien, is coming out on May 26th. Um, so that's up for pre-order right now, and I did a cover reveal really recently. And book 2 is going to be coming out in audiobook sometime in late June or early July, so long as everything works with Greg's schedule and
Hmm.
Audible. That we're scheduled for him to start recording that in early June or late May, depending.
We had another question
Yeah.
coming here as well, by the way, and
Oh, sure.
I missed a comment 15 minutes ago, guys. I'm
Oh,
sorry, they're flying by really fast. But what I will say is somebody nobody was complaining about, by the way, you strategizing 10, 15 books ahead. They're like, give me now. Are you done with it?
oh,
Give me more.
yay.
Yeah, exactly. Will there ever be a dedicated Captain Starblade and Lord Vardok's dedicated book or novella?
Oh my God, I get this question all the time. I have been releasing a number of short stories. So when I wrote this series, it's very meta, right? So my main character happens to write an alien tentacle porn soap opera story that's like even more over the top than my story. And it's called The Tentacular Tales of Captain Starblade. And it's about this Captain Starblade and his evil nemesis, Lord Vardox, who's also kind of his love interest. And I had snippets of it in every book, essentially. And after book 1, I had so many people being like, "Oh my gosh, I want to read this." This actual series. So I have released a few chapters. The first 2 chapters of River's story are available if you sign up through my newsletter. You get them, and I have promised people I will continue doing some. The issue is that River's at like chapter 140 something of this serial that I'm like, ooh, I don't know that I could actually
Wow.
sustain it that long. I have considered doing down the line, doing it like as part of a Patreon kind of thing where it
Mm-hmm.
would be like a bi-weekly kind of new chapter installment for it for people who signed up for the Patreon, I can't remember how they want to say that.
Mm-hmm.
But um, but I'm not in a place where I have actually sufficient time to do that since I still have a full-time day job. If I get to a point where I can go full-time with writing, it would be a pretty high priority on my list. The issue is it wouldn't really work super well as a novel because he writes it as a serial on his blog, like one new chapter every week kind of thing.
Right.
And each chapter kind of ends on a bit of a cliffhanger. And so I'd probably do it in a serialized mode. And so I will probably test the waters maybe next year to kind of see how many people would want to sign up for Patreon if I did this and see where it
Well,
goes.
I've seen
But in
other
the meantime,
authors.
I'll keep releasing free ones.
I've seen other authors do that successfully and do it really well.
Mhm.
Is the full time thing? And I know this is always the question, isn't it? Is that like a goal, an ambition? Is that something you're striving for, or do you love what you do, and this is just another love what you do? Or
Mm,
by the way, you're being
I
recorded,
would.
and I'm going to put this on the internet.
Right. I would really love to be able to go full time at some point. Um, I've always wanted to be a writer. And so from very, or like fourth grade or something, I was like an advanced reader as a child. And so I was reading like 900 page like fantasy tomes, like Terry Brooks sort of Shannara kind of stuff in fourth grade,
Oh yeah,
right?
oh
So
yeah.
like I started trying to write my own fantasy stories then. Wrote my first novella in like seventh grade. Like I've been writing off and on a lot over the years. But and I wrote my first novel I actually wrote in my very early 20s, like 21 or 22, but this was like back in 2000, um, when self-publishing was not a thing and you had to
Mm-hmm.
query through agents and stuff. And I got, some interest here and there, but it never amounted to anything. And I thought, oh God, I mean, I just must not have what it takes, or it must be just so impossible to break into this that I kind of, gave up on it, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
for a while. And it really wasn't until the pandemic hit and it was like a whole bunch of different things where it made me kind of reassess my life, like, if not now, when? Kind of thing, that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna really make this happen. And so I just gave myself kind of full license. And at that point, self-publishing was a much more viable path, and so many people in our genre were doing it successfully that that's kind of where I went with that.
By the way, before I forget, it needs to be
Yeah.
said, those are fantastic glasses. Those are like the
Thank
coolest
you.
look. No, they're. I believe the term, if we were in the '80s, and sometimes I still am, I believe the term is bitchin'. Those are bitchin'.
Yeah. Love it. Yeah. My friends kind of know. I sort of am very open about the fact that I'm like a bling hoe. Like I love sparkly, shiny, anything, And so I have to wear glasses daily. I can't do contacts. Like I just can't stick my finger in my eye. So
Hmm.
like my whole philosophy is, if I've got to wear them on my face, I need to have multiple pairs, like any accessory that I can accessorize with different outfits. And
I
so, anyway, I got these from Zenny. So, they're not paying me or anything, but they, but they could. Um, but they have multiple colors. And so I just absolutely love them. And yeah, I've got them in like red, green, blue, and I'm like waiting for them to do like purple because that's my favorite color. And I'm like, where's the purple? So
You
yeah.
should have. Yeah, you should have purple. There's, and by the way, that's Tracy's, I believe, favorite color, purple. If I remember correctly. God, see, I'm going to be wrong now that I said it, but I understand completely.
Oh no.
I need to say a couple things here. One, you've been a
Yeah.
fantastic guest. You've been patient. You've been like a
Oh, thank you.
pro. You're dealing with me messing up something on the back end here. I always mess with the back end. I don't know why. One way or the other, you've been fantastic. If one, you have open license, please come back anytime. But for the love of
Oh,
God, reach out
great.
to us. We'd love to have you on. If you want to
I'd
promote
love to.
something,
Hmm.
whatever, just chat away.
Sure.
Especially, I would imagine coming time around that next audiobook release, please come back
Yeah.
and
Okay, I will.
uh,
I would love to come back.
let's have a big
Yeah,
Greg
I'm
love
a
party
chatty
on my
Cathy,
channel.
so
It'll be
I'm happy to. Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
hopefully I can get you on my show at some point.
I would like nothing more. Please let's keep on raising up the community. We
Great.
got a lot of good people.
We
Um,
will.
Now, if this works correctly, and I didn't mess this up, what I'm
Yes.
going to do is we're going to wave at the camera and we're going to say bye, and there's going to be
Okay.
outro music that plays. So I love y'all. Have fun.
Okay.
I will see you on Thursday for the Ramblin' Gremlin show.
Okay.